Charlotte Hornets. And that means that the number one pick in the 2023 NBA draft goes to the San Antonio Spurs.
The San Antonio Spurs walk away with the first overall pick in the 2023 draft. The right to draft a paradigm shifter, a generational talent in Victor Wembanyama.
Well, at least the Astros are 4 games above 500. Am I right, folks? Because this past NBA season for the Houston Rockets was a waste of your time, a waste of my time. The tanking that they did, voluntarily playing Deshaun Nix as much as they did. No development, really, from Jalen Green over the course of a season. It all led to the Rockets getting the number 4 overall pick in last night's draft lottery, which does suck. How are you feeling on this morning afternoon? 713-780-3776 to call or text into the most interactive sports talk show in Houston. I want to start off with Sean's thoughts before I get into mine. Sean, where are you at? Because I think after doing our many mock NBA draft lotteries, we were both expecting the worst. And while the worst didn't quite happen for the Rockets, which would have then been them having the 6th overall pick coming out of the lottery last night.
Or them being the Detroit Pistons, who are the worst team in the league and got
getting
the
pick
5th
5.
pick.
Yes, they had the worst possible thing. In fact, I saw that happen, Sean, and I thought for sure, okay, well, at least the Rockets aren't going to get screwed here.
They're not the most upset fan base.
Right. At least at worst, they're going to be picking 3rd, is what I thought after the Pistons got 5. And then all of a sudden,
which is very funny math to do in your head.
It made no sense. It was just like, oh, okay, I feel better about this. The Rockets get picked 4. Where are you at right now?
I mean, like we did all the lottery simulations on our state-of-the-art AI technology.
Mm-hmm.
I was never like, we're gonna get Victor. Like, at no point in my life did I ever think Victor Wembanyama would be a Rocket. So him not being a Rocket, that's like, all right. Them being the 4th pick, it is like an interesting spot to be at. It's not. I mean, you would rather just be the number 2 pick. It'd be less interesting, but it'd be more fun. And yeah, but after they made the first, because they take the commercial break for the top 4. During that commercial break I was like, that's a 25% chance now. Like, throw out all the percentages. Now it's just 25. And then it feels like they called the Rockets' name like before they even came back from commercial.
Yes. I got to say, that broadcast made it worse. The terrible music in the background and the commercial break before they announced the top 5 pick, only to find out that the Rockets end up with pick number 4. Here's where I'm at, guys. And I think some of you are going to be looking for me to say it's rigged for the Spurs. I'm not going to do that. Proactive tanking should not be rewarded. The Rockets didn't deserve to get the number 1 overall pick. They've been doing this for 3 years in a row. They're wasting your time. They're wasting my time. I just want a watchable product. I'm not so desiring of a watchable product that I want the Rockets to bring James Harden back. He would make the team more watchable no matter his playoff issues. So I'm not broken up about the Rockets not getting that number 1 overall pick. You should, with 3 straight top 5 picks, have enough to turn yourself into a relevant basketball team. And what's annoying is that the last 2 top 5 picks that the Rockets made, 2nd overall Jalen Green, 3rd overall Jabari Smith Jr., that has not raised them from the depths of the NBA and back into the collective conscience of everybody that lives in this city. Because let's be honest, you only were going to start caring or being excited about the Rockets again if the Rockets were to get that number 1 overall pick with Victor Wembanyama. So there is a part of me in a world where the word deserve doesn't really exist that thinks that the Rockets deserve to not get the number 1 overall pick. Rafael Stone was talking about this plan that he had. Tillman Fertitta saying, hey, let's pray for Victor Wembanyama. Praying does not turn an organization around. this last year and the year before that were entire wastes of time. The Steven Silas era, it's much like the Astros era of tanking, except at least the Astros found foundational players to turn themselves relevant again. And there's been way too much of this just bad play in town, wasting your time between the Texans, Astros, and Rockets for a lifetime. I've been here since 2011. Good God. All three of these teams have gone through long periods of sucking and not mattering. And at the very least, the Astros pulled themselves out of it. But there's no excuse going forward for the Rockets, even with them not getting that number 1 overall pick. And yeah, I'm a little bit glad that they didn't get rewarded for tanking. I just hate that the Spurs got the number 1 overall pick. And that's where we all should be focusing our frustration on. It sucks that the Spurs got the number 1 overall pick, especially when you consider this ridiculous side note that we didn't even think about on April 18th. On April 18th, there was a coin toss to determine who would have the second, best chance of not falling all the way down to pick number 7 if you're the 3rd overall, 6 if you're the 2nd overall, or 5 if you're the 3rd overall in terms of worst teams in the NBA. And the Rockets won that coin toss against the Spurs, which doesn't give them a better chance to get Wembanyama. It just gives them a better chance to not fall. But had the Rockets lost that coin toss, they would have Victor Wembanyama right now.
Yeah, they literally, like, they assigned which ping pong balls went to which team, essentially.
Right.
And they assigned the one that had Victor Wembanyama was assigned to the Spurs because the Rockets won a coin toss.
Yes.
Which, I mean, hey, did they call tails? Do you think they called tails?
I'm not sure.
I think they called tails.
But it just sucks. Listen to the Spurs owner. The Spurs owner, right after the pick was made, you heard the Spurs being gleeful, figuring out that they were going to pick number 1 overall. Here is Spurs owner Peter Holt.
I might faint.
I might faint. Oh, boy. I might faint.
I will say, though, so in the moment, it was not funny. Having rewatched the moment, again since, it is very funny that he's, like, yelling, "Let's go," to, like, an empty ballroom where he's the only one who won the lottery. Like, he's like, "Woo, come on, woo." And it's like, who goes to who are the people in attendance at the draft lottery?
Good question.
Who are those
Suits?
people?
I'm not sure.
Like,
probably some suits.
Yeah, I imagine that it's NBA officials, team officials. But, like, what are you like, no one else is going to high-five you, dude. Like, everyone else sitting next to you is upset that you won.
Care. He has a massive pants tent in that moment, and he might have started.
Come on!
He's looking for something to high-five. Look down, okay? Look, he's got a right to be excited, but I think every single Rockets fan's collective thought process is the same as Jesse Pinkman in Breaking Bad. Like, this is how you feel. You're annoyed that the Spurs keep getting very fortunate.
You can't keep getting away with it.
That's where you're at. Here's the thing, though. Before we start whining about how lucky the Spurs have been, I do think it's important to note that the Rockets have also been incredibly lucky in the past when it comes to the NBA draft lottery. So maybe this is karmic retribution, if you're into that kind of thing, for not just the tanking that's taken place over the last 3 years, wasting all of our collective times. Maybe you say last 2 years because the year where James Harden got traded, what the hell were they supposed to do that season? But in 1984, the Rockets were the 4th worst team in the NBA. Since they were the worst team in the Western Conference, they got in a coin flip with the worst team in the Eastern Conference, whose name is eluding me. I'm not sure. They had the 4th worst record in the league, and thanks to a coin flip, they beat the team with the actual worst record in the NBA to get Hakeem Olajuwon. So there's that. The lottery changed up a little bit after that draft, where every single team that didn't make the playoffs had an equal chance, all the team names were in an envelope, of getting the number 1 overall pick. The Knicks in 1985 had the third worst record in the NBA, and they got Patrick Ewing. And that was a massive controversy. People still have conspiracy theories about that. So they changed the lottery a little bit further. And as time goes on, it turns into this situation where essentially some teams have really high odds to win the lottery, generally the top three. But as it goes further and further down, teams would have a lesser chance. In 2002, the Rockets were the fifth worst team in the NBA. They had an 8.9% chance of getting the first overall pick, and they got it, and they took Yao Ming. They have been fortunate before, too, with Hakeem and with Yao. Something to keep in mind. But San Antonio's luck is insane. It really is. And we're talking about a team that also has won 5 championships over the past 20, 25 years or so. On top of that, think about this. I'm just going to lay it out. 1987, the Spurs had the 4th worst record in the NBA. They had the 4th best odds to get the first overall pick. They got pick 1.
Who'd they pick?
They picked David Robinson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Hall of Fame big man. Got it.
1989, forgotten name, Sean Elliott. The Spurs took him 3rd overall. It's still the envelope system, so each team had a 11.11% chance at pick number 1. The Spurs had the 4th worst record in the NBA, and they got pick number 3. So, again, you're seeing a pattern here. The Spurs have bad records and end up picking better than where their record would indicate. Say this was the NFL, they should. So, in that situation, 4th worst record in the NBA, equal odds to get David Robinson. 4th worst record in the NBA. They get the 3rd overall pick in 89. 1997, the Spurs had the 3rd best chance. They had the 3rd worst record in the NBA and the 2nd best lottery odds. Boston had a 27% chance. The Spurs had a 21.6% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick in 97. Boston ends up with picks 3 and 6. No number 1. San Antonio gets Tim Duncan.
Also, these are like the only years San Antonio has ever been bad.
Yes.
It's like the 3 times they've been bad, they get insane.
100%.
Like, not just like luck as far as like moving up, because a lot of teams move up and it's a bad draft and they pick Anthony Bennett. Like that happens.
Yep.
These guys are bad for 3 years and they get 2 Hall of Famers and 1 guy who Woj called the best prospect in team sports history. Which
is a little bit hyperbole. But
I want to fact check that a little bit.
Too.
But
just a little bit.
That just goes to show that the Spurs luck is ridiculous. This is their first year like really tanking. Like they traded DeJounte Murray the year before. They get rid of DeRozan. This is the first like where they are just unabashedly awful. They had the most losses in NBA history by 30 plus points this season. They were horrible this year.
They weren't good. And they had the 3rd best odds. Technically, it's the same odds as the Rockets to get the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. But they technically, based off of that tiebreaker, had the 3rd best odds all in all. And they get the number 1 overall pick in Victor Wembanyama. So I want to wrap up my thoughts on the Spurs with this. I don't hate them the way some do here because I respect teams that are able to put together a stretch like this. I've liked the Warriors from afar. I know that's a controversial opinion to have here. I like the Spurs. It's one of the best dynasties in sports history.
All right, John McClain.
But a 5-time NBA champion, Sean, winning the lottery twice in addition to winning 5 titles over the last 30 years, that sucks. It just sucks. That's it. That's all you can say. It just sucks. Like, there's no God. There you go, guys. There's no basketball God. Just it's all over.
Is that why praying for Victor didn't work?
Yes. That's why it didn't work. So here we are, guys. Another year of Rockets irrelevance likely on the horizon.
Not to brag about it, but I knew what was going to happen. And I actually recorded myself saying it this morning walking to practice. So, the universe told me dreams, feelings, it happens sometimes. But it's never wrong. It's always right.
That's French prospect Victor Wembanyama, who right there said he always thought he was going to end up going to the San Antonio Spurs. Inside job? Question mark? That's a little bit of fuel if you want to put on the conspiracy theories hats, if you want to bust out old tinfoil McGee and put him on your head. I forgot to bring mine in today because I just don't really have any conspiracy theories about it. I just think that the Rockets ran into some unfortunate luck here, and the Spurs just stay hot.
The thing about the NBA draft lottery conspiracies is it's very easy to do it after the fact.
Yes.
Because it's either, they want to send this guy to a big market, or they want to help out San Antonio. Like, it's always like they want to create a big market with San Antonio.
And right, Sean, why would they want to do either of those things?
They gave Zion and
to New Orleans
and Ja to New Orleans and Memphis, and he gave New York the third pick. I feel like 2019 just ended all rigged lottery talk. Like, what? Why would they ever do that?
But the NBA used to own the New Orleans Pelicans, and remember when the Pelicans got Anthony Davis? Uh-oh!
They owned him back then.
Right, but once a product of the NBA, always a product of the NBA.
They're the New Orleans Pelicans are the favored son.
Oh, they love it. They love it.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, Zion.
How can you argue with their success?
Can you get in shape, please, Zion? At some point, it would be nice.
They won like one playoff series in their franchise history. Yeah.
Hey, it's me.
NBA loves them.
It's me, Adam Silver. I'm not going to punish you for anything you do unless it's really, really bad, or unless you say something bad about China. Zion Williamson, you got to figure it out. We're trying to help out New Orleans. We are all about the small market teams in the NBA. Yeah, the idea that they're rigging it for San Antonio, a team that doesn't need any help to rig things. They got Kawhi Leonard in the back of the first round?
Yeah, 15.
Right. So, I mean,
they traded George Hill for Kawhi Leonard.
The Spurs don't need help, and the Spurs are a nothing market as far as the NBA goes. This was not rigged, but it sucks that the Spurs stay this lucky. That's how we should all be looking at this. We do have a couple of comments on the most interactive sports talk show in Houston. One texter, down bad. I'm ready to welcome Harden home after getting the 4th pick. Oh, come on, dude. Come on.
This is 2 a.m. at the bar.
Yes.
That's what that is.
And you're not even talking about Harden in his prime. You're talking about your high school crush 20 years from now, 3 kids in, okay? Well, I'm not even commenting on the weight. I'm not even commenting on the looks. This is washed version of your crush.
Washed prom queen.
Yes, washed prom queen, indeed. The lottery is so dumb, writes Aggie Matt. We had to watch tanking. Now we don't get the top pick, top 2 or 3. No, it's good. You can't reward teams for doing this stuff. I am a big believer in this. It is wrong that a team can waste your time for a year and expect you to come back in thanks to the magic of the lottery gods. And the Rockets were acting like they had this grand plan. How can you have a grand plan when the lottery system is set up the way that it is? The only plan that you can have is from within to develop your players into good players. And you did not do that last year. You didn't. Jalen Green did not improve enough. Yes, Jabari Smith improved as the season went along. A lot of players improved the last month of the year when other teams stopped playing. I don't like incompetence being rewarded. The lottery system in the NBA, at the very least, is a check against it. Hell, I think the NFL could use something like this. I don't think it would be the worst idea in the world for the NFL to institute something like this. But again, here we are. All I'm saying is I get it. A lot of people are frustrated. It sucks more that the Spurs got it than that the Rockets got the shaft, if you will, because they deserve the shaft for this. They've wasted all of our time for 3 years. I get it. Harden screwed them over. They've wasted our time. I'm not crying for them. I'm not. I'm just not. They've claimed to have a plan. Okay, maybe the plan's having Ime Udoka be the greatest coach in NBA history. I hope that's what happens. I also hope that he, doesn't try to date everybody on the team. And I mean like employees. I don't mean players. I just need him to get this thing on the road. This is now what has to happen. They have to have it go well. Raphael Stone had this to say: we have the 4th pick of the draft. It's a really talented draft. I'm happy. No, you're not. Shut up. I think we're going to add another talented guy. We feel really good about the direction our franchise is headed in with our young core and our ability to add in free agency. Oh God, I don't even want to hear that. It's like, we talked about the free agents the other day, Sean. It's not great picking.
Honestly, watching last night's Nuggets Lakers game, I was like, Austin Reeves is a restricted free agent. Maybe maybe throw him an offer that LA can't match.
No, because that has...
Austin Reeves or James Harden, Paul?
I'm gonna be called racist if I say Austin Reeves by the Harden stands out there.
All right.
So I'm going to say no comment.
Cam Johnson or James Harden.
A tin can or James Harden. Well, tin can's got aluminum.
Also, talking about the NFL draft lottery, they have to have been watching this, like especially the Victor draft lottery, and they're like, man, could you imagine if we push the NFL draft back another month and then put the lottery where the draft
Seriously,
is, and then we just have
You're cooking with gas, Sean.
and then the schedule release in June, and then
You're cooking with gas.
Then they report back in late July. Boom, we just did it.
No league does events like the NFL. You're right, Sean. Like, it's a matter of time. They should do it. I wonder if owners will finally acquiesce to that. And I get it, quarterbacks, but does every team that suck deserve a good quarterback?
Yeah. Like I maybe if stuff gets like really gross with the Caleb Williams, like tanking for Caleb Williams and Drake May, like maybe that can spur the change where they're like, yeah, we gotta do something about this.
Rafael Stone's statement continued. This is additive, in a way. I would say it's kind of icing on the cake. No. It's not. It's the icing's the best part. The icing is the best part. Yes, it's nice to have a moist cake. You want the good frosting on the cake, okay? The frosting rules. 1 is better than 4. We can all do math, but I'm excited. We're going to get an opportunity to get a really quality player. Hopefully, some of those quality players, the idea is that Wembanyama's gone number 1 overall to San Antonio already. After that, it's a matter of who is going to take with picks 2 and picks 3. Brandon Miller of Alabama and G League Ignites Scoot Henderson. There's another guy by the name of Amen Thompson who plays for Overtime Elite. He is a point guard. There should be a point guard available for the Rockets at pick 4, so it should be a more watchable product next season. Overtime Elite sounds like a video game team that you see like kids play Fortnite or Overwatch on or something like that, like from esports. I have no idea what the hell that is. Apparently he's got a twin brother. That's fun. Hell, I might just go full Cougs here and say, let's get Jarris Walker. Jarris Walker time, baby. 4th overall. Instill some toughness on this team of guys who don't seem to really care all that much that they were tanking. You know, you got like Kevin Porter Jr., the holidays. You know, Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve. Not really feeling it. You know, it's a tough time of year. Also, Ime Udoka. Ime Udoka at least like won last night, showing no emotion on the lottery stage when the Rockets found out they were picked 4. We're going to get a great young player. We're excited to add to our core. It was exciting. It's a great opportunity. We can add to the draft, but we also have to develop the guys that we have. Yes, that's all they have to do. We look forward to adding a good piece to what we already have. Obviously, everyone gets enamored with number 1 or possibly 2 and 3 guys, but there's tons of quality players. It's a pretty top-heavy draft.